Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the molecular toolkit. These are the essential instruments that scientists use to read, copy, and identify the very code that makes us who we are, our DNA.
I mean, it really sounds like magic, doesn't it? But, it's not. The answer is in a really precise process that starts with a tiny, often invisible sample and a brilliant set of molecular tools that let us read the book of life, one page at a time.
Okay, so let's get into this toolkit. The best way to think about it is not as one single magic bullet, but as a combination of 3 different instruments. And each one has a very specific job. It's when you use them together in a precise workflow that they give us this just incredible view into the genetic world.
So the first challenge you almost always run into is a problem of scale. A crime scene might only have a single hair, or maybe a blood sample has just a few viral particles. That is nowhere near enough DNA to work with. So the first step is always, we've got to make more.
And the solution to this problem is a technique called polymerase chain reaction, or PCR for short. The easiest way to think of it is like a highly specialized molecular photocopier. But instead of copying some document, it finds a very specific page in that book of life, say a single gene, and it copies just that page over and over and over again. The whole process is this really elegant cycle of just changing the temperature. First, we crank up the heat on the DNA to separate its 2 strands. That's denaturation. Then we cool it down so these little guide molecules, we call them primers, can lock on to the start and end points of the section we want. That's annealing. And finally, a special protein, an enzyme, comes in and builds a new matching strand, turning 1 copy into 2. That's extension. And then we just do it all over again.
And this is the really incredible part. The growth is exponential because every cycle doubles the amount of DNA. 1 copy becomes 2, then 4, then 8, and so on. In just a few hours, a single DNA molecule gets amplified into over 1 billion copies. And just like that, we have more than enough material to work with. All right, let's move on to the next tool and see how this all builds. So we've made billions of copies of our DNA, but now we need a way to organize them, to actually see what we've got. The next step is all about sorting. For this part, we use a technique called gel electrophoresis. We take our amplified DNA samples and load them into this slab of gel, which is kind of like a thick, porous mesh. Then we apply an electric current. Now, since DNA has a natural negative charge, it starts moving through the gel toward the positive end. It's literally a race. And this slide just illustrates the sorting principle perfectly. That gel is like a dense obstacle course. The smaller DNA fragments, they can weave through it really quickly and travel far. But the larger, bulkier fragments, well, they get tangled up and move much more slowly. And the result? The DNA fragments separate into these neat bands, all perfectly sorted by their size. Okay, great. So we've copied our DNA and we've sorted all the pieces by size. But now we have a new problem. This gel might have dozens, maybe even hundreds of these bands. How in the world do we find the one specific gene or sequence we're actually looking for in all of that noise? Exactly. I mean, the bands on the gel, they represent all the DNA fragments we copied. Trying to find our specific gene of interest in that jumble is a huge challenge. And this is where the third tool in our kit, blotting, becomes our genetic search engine. The process here is just ingenious. First, we transfer that DNA pattern from the flimsy gel onto a sturdy nylon membrane, kind of like making a blueprint. Then we add a probe. Think of this thing as a genetic bloodhound. It's a custom-designed piece of DNA with a fluorescent tag that will only stick to the exact sequence we're looking for. After we wash everything else away, we develop the membrane. And what do we see? Only the band containing our target gene lights up like a single bright signal in the dark. So here's the crucial point. None of these techniques is really all that powerful on its own. Their true revolutionary power comes from how they work together as this seamless logical system. It's really like a 3-act story. First, you amplify your tiny sample into a workable amount with PCR. Then, you separate the fragments by size using electrophoresis. And finally, you identify your exact gene of interest using a specific probe in the blotting process. Amplify, separate, identify. That workflow has defined modern biology. And why does this all matter? Because this exact toolkit is the foundation for so much of our modern world.
It is how forensic scientists match DNA from a crime scene. It's how doctors test for genetic diseases or for viruses. It's used in everything from paternity tests to confirming if your food is free of genetically modified organisms or GMOs. This isn't just theory in a lab. It impacts our lives every single day.
For decades now, these tools have given us the ability to read the code of life with incredible precision. And by understanding this fundamental toolkit, we can better appreciate the scientific breakthroughs that are happening all around us, and we can begin to ask that next big question. Now that we can read the books so well, what story are we going to choose to write next?